Yes, yes, yes.
What's more important?
Okay.
Forget a segue. What's more important? This applies to any medium any medium. Reading, writing, arithmetic, whatever. What's more important? Good characters or a good story?
Oh.
There's a right answer to this.
I will go first and say I think it's good character because if you have good characters, they could just be sitting in a room and it'd be good.
Dylan, what do you think?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't want to talk over you if you had something. For me, I feel like it's good characters over storyline because I have watched animes with absolutely shit storylines, some of the worst, but the characters were just so well written, and the stories that they're like their own personal journeys going through, that made it enjoyable for me. And there's arcs of animes that I've watched that I absolutely hated. They're not my favorite. I can't stand them, but I love the characters so much because they're so written well. I'll put up with it.
Yeah, and on the opposite
90% of
end
Naruto.
of that is there could be a great storyline. Like an anime could have a fantastic plot line. If your character's shit, I'm not getting past the second episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that point, I'm gonna have to agree with that. If you can
I was
have
gonna say,
the
what are your
the
thoughts?
best story ever written, but if your character's just hot trash, you're not gonna keep the viewership. Simple as that.
You're all wrong.
Fuck yourself.
I'm kidding. I was gonna say good.
This is our podcast.
I was
Get out
saying
here.
good.
Right? Get out.
I was gonna.
I own this apartment now.
Etching and chill with Arklay Red, Jesse,
This
and Emmy
is-
cosplay. Put that on a banner. See how that works out for you. Okay. You exceeded the character
This is
limit
a
2 sentences
takeover.
ago.
3-1 vote. Kicked off the island.
Wow. Our votes are weighted
are
the
the weakest link.
same.
Goodbye.
That's cool. Jesus, this is a freaking monarchy. When did we become a fake ass democracy? Matter of fact, mute your mic. Go vote over there in silence, peasant. I was going to say I agree with all of you. I thought all of you were going to say good story because a good story is more engaging. But Jesse actually stole my thunder and had the best point ever because when you have good characters, they can just be in a room. Because one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that the actor joke is, what's my motivation? Like, a good character is just naturally motivated. Like, Wolf of Wall Street is one of my favorite movies ever. Not because of the whole bros doing cocaine and getting money thing. Like, no, it's a great movie. Like, the main character is a piece of shit dude, but, like, he's so hyper-focused on just all this wealth and power. It's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, think about all the animes that people watch that have really, like, have filler, but people know every filler episode because they enjoy it and watching. And I'm not just talking about Ashley and all of
Oh, did
Naruto.
you just say Ashley Sushi?
I know.
She's defended to the death loving all the Naruto filler.
Because
Sorry,
all of them-
Naruto Adventures.
Are you going to hit the button?
No, I don't have I just realized I'm terrible at drops. I don't know what this orange one does.
That's perfect.
Wait, can we have a moment of you just going through all those buttons?
Yeah. Okay. This is.
We're get back to my topic, but here we go. Go.
Okay. This is, I think, a song. Yes.
Yeah.
This is Sad Trombone. This is like a horror thing. Wrong one. That's Rim,
It's not a horror.
Rim Shot. Anyway.
A little fancy.
And then there's this one. I don't know why I would ever have crickets and birds. Birds? Jesse, you do birds. That's the one. Anyway, go ahead.
So, like, they'll have so many fillers, and I still remember one of the curry filler of Naruto is one of my absolute favorites because I love the characters so much, and they're so well done that I'm literally willing to watch anything with them in. Like, they're just so entertaining. Like, Hunter x Hunter right now has some random, just odd story parts where I'm like, it's not my favorite, but these characters make it so funny.
Ooh,
And
you
so
brought
good.
up something good. Speaking of characters that are good, we were just talking off pod about not off pod earlier in the topic. This episode, Eren Yeager. He is a mass murderer. I don't care. I'm with him. Are there characters that are either wrong or genuinely disliked that you like? I'm going to say Sasuke Uchiha is one of those characters for me. He spends all series looking for somebody to kill. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree with that. You're not about to mark my whole family, and I'm going to be like, I forgive you. Bump that. Sorry for those audio listeners in your office, but bump that. I'm coming for blood, sir. Too many tragic moments happen in anime for me to just Naruto my way out of there. I'm with Light Yagami. Get these criminals out of here, cuz.
I'm
Like,
gonna take a potato chip and eat it.
best scene ever.
It literally
I'm not
was.
saying you should die for jaywalking, but I mean, if you're a serial killer and you're in jail, your name's in the death note. If you binge watch, your name in the death note.
All right, listen here, motherfucker.
For your audio listeners, all three of us at the table are now just staring at Evan because we all three
I'm
are binge
sorry,
watchers.
you don't have a fucking superpower.
You're gonna regret letting me know I have a laugh track. Hey, Emily.
Don't be me, don't be.
You're muted. Don't ever. Emily's muted. Don't ever touch my board. Who's you guys' favorite terrible character in anime? Eren Yeager.
I got one, but you've muted me.
Sorry, what was that, Emily? You're muted.
I'm trying to think.
Or video games, or TV shows in general.
So I got a couple. I got Shigaraki from My Hero.
Ooh.
I do not give a shit. I love that crusty boy. And then, because I'm so deep in Hunter x Hunter stuff right now, Hisoka is the most morally confusing character. I was telling Jesse earlier, his obsession with the 12-year-old, fucking weird. But his ability to just murder people for funsies is like, I will follow him to the end of earth for his crazy. Absolutely here for. Do not care at all.
Go and what is Hisoka? Really?
Hisoka, yeah.
It's like, Hisoka, do you want to have sex with Gon or do you want to spar with Gon? And he's like, yeah.
And you're like,
that
wait,
one.
what? Like, because there's one point.
Have you not seen it, Cook?
Are we talking about Hunter x Hunter?
Yes.
No, I have yet.
Okay.
It's
Trust
on my
me,
list.
You're going to see it and have the same opinion as I do. Like,
Mind
do you
you-
want to fight him or fuck him?
Well, mind
his
you-
answer's yes.
Yes. Mind you, I literally asked my boss who watched this before me, and I was like, hey, because like it was like the first few episodes he met Hisoka, and I'm like, okay, he's got a weird vibe, and I kind of know going into this he's odd. And I turned to my boss and I'm like, he's not gonna have like some weird Orochimaru feelings for like going like Sasuke, like Orochimaru did with Sasuke, right? And my boss just like looked at me and walked away. I went, son of a bitch. All right.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna prepare myself for this.
Can I bring up how?
Is this the guy that had like all the abs, but then it was a ball later?
No,
Okay.
that's a different guy.
That is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
can I bring up
I
this?
haven't watched it.
In
but-
Naruto, Orochimaru was a whole thought for no reason. This dude was deep throating swords and
Yes.
scrolls just because he could. Like,
Yes.
Kinky.
yes, he was a whole thought for no reason. Talking about some, oh yes, Sasuke, and I was like, whoa. Like,
Biting kids' necks to curse them
he's Orochimaru is a kinky dude.
with some skeletons in the
He's all
closet.
bendy and stretchy. Literally, yes, he is.
And the floorboards
He's a literal snake. Oh my god.
in the closets.
Although I'd seen too much Orochimaru bedroom fan fiction, and I'm ashamed to admit how much I've seen of it.
Same. I know too much.
There's no going back now. I just
No, you
gotta
can't.
embrace it.
It's stuck in your brain.
Exactly. Never gonna forget it.
Nope.
Just has 1,000 yards straight. All of a sudden, just no. Oh,
I don't
Can
know
you
who did
mute
that.
her
So
again?
okay, Emily did it. I was gonna say I don't know who did it,
Emily.
so I'm muting all of your mics in retaliation.
It was Emily.
Good night.
I know.
What was that? You're muted. Kidding.
I think you're on like 3 or something. Maybe 4.
I'm counting the one before the show
Okay.
started.
Oh, you are counting one before you started. Okay, it's a 4. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's hard because a lot of the characters I like, everyone likes, but
Well, you still can go for it.
yeah.
That's fine.
I don't know. I mean, like, well, there's Kirito. Everyone fucking hates him.
I just hate ACO, so.
Emily, I'm gonna have to talk you down off this ledge.
No, we're good. We're
Because
good.
the main condition on getting Jesse on the show was no SAO bashing.
I forgot. It's just, it's a gut reaction. I haven't even seen the show, and I like to mess with her
I
about
can't.
it.
This is why. That's why
Yes.
I love
Yes.
him, but I
This,
hate him at the same time.
this is indeed
He- 'cause
me.
What?
Oh,
SAO,
Kirito. I thought
yeah.
you like you love me, you hate me at the same time. I'm like, I'm literally defending you
just
right
hate
now.
you.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Moving on. She had a point. She had a point.
I guess because like my reason for like loving him, why everyone hates him, is kind of like the same for Eren Yeager. Like, he's really fucking stupid and makes really dumbass choices, but he's baby.
Would we call Eren Yeager baby?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm like,
Angry,
look,
emotionally driven baby.
Angry
Full
baby.
of rage.
little angsty baby.
Ready to bite his finger
Could
at any
Mikasa
moment.
have fucking figured all this shit out in season 1? Yes. But she's letting him have his moment.
That's because Austin is the best character in the show.
You're not wrong.
No, I will not be taking questions because no, I don't need to take questions.
What about you?
For me, I mean, it's one person. Shigaraki's the guy with the hands on
Yeah.
My Hero. For those who are listening, I'm just now kind of catching up on My Hero Academia. I'm only season 3 right now, so I'm terrible with names. But yeah, there's something about him that I'm just like, all right, I don't mind if you stay around at all.
Yeah, because it's, well, on one hand, what you're watching right now and what you're going to get to, it's not really a spoiler what I'm about to give you. Like, he kind of bounces around and hangs out with a bunch of villains. And each villain he meets with has, like, a code for how they do things. Where are you right now? I don't want to give you a villain.
For those who haven't watching, I'm just going to say really quick spoilers right now because I'm really terrible at, like, subtly describing things. I just finished all my beating All for One.
Okay.
Oh, so you're second
So, yeah,
season.
when he was with, so he meets one villain, and this villain later in the season, he's like, you have to have a plan. If you just want to do things without plan, you're not going to get very far. And Shigaraki's like, I don't know if I agree with that. Then he meets another villain later on. This villain's like, what do you want to do? Like, do you have a goal? Like, what's your structure like? And he's like, I just want to do things. I don't really think this is going to work for me. And you saw Shigaraki with Stain. Stain is like, you need conviction. You have to really believe it. Shigaraki's like, I just want to destroy things. Like, that's kind of where he ends up at. And he's the same person throughout, but like seeing his motivation go from just this raging, angry child to just like a force of just pure rage. Like,
Especially in one of the arcs that are coming up.
yeah,
He becomes
So-
like God mode.
I see that. A lot of people identify with Shigaraki because he's just angry.
Yeah, I was told without spoilers that there is like a focus on his backstory at some point, and I'm just like, ooh, okay. I'm
Oh,
ready
do you
for
want
that.
tragedy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Can we also talk about, on a side note, with My Hero, that Stain was truly the greatest person on that. Like, he's the only one that truly called out the flaws and everything, and I would be a diehard person that follows Stain. Maybe that's why I like Kin Toga so much, is like, I want to be Mr. Stainy. I just want to follow Mr. Stainy, and then I want to kill Mr. Stainy.
Stain.
Oh, God.
When people in
Forgot
My
it.
Hero get me so angry, and I'm
Did I
keeping
just
the
trigger
counter.
you?
No, because I'm realizing I've brought up My Hero every pod episode. This is gonna be my poddamia.
Well, it's probably because we have the My Hero
Right.
like banner
It
that
just
I'm
sits there
staring at.
you.
But and like people like misunderstand My Hero so much. They're like, Stain was 100% right. The heroes are wrong, and I'm like, no, that's
Nobody-
not the point there. Like Stain, he has a point. Doesn't mean he's right.
He was just
No.
pointing out the negative aspects.
Correct.
He pointed out the huge flaw that everyone's like, no, the heroes are the best. And like, he's like, no, they're completely biased. And,
Yes.
and like, he wasn't the greatest character. He was the greatest morally great character.
I agree with that. Like the thing in My Hero's society where they say, sorry, Jesse, I know this is boring for you.
Oh, no,
'cause you
you're
haven't
good.
seen
You're
it.
solid. I watched some of it.
Okay. Yeah, like the point of My Hero is like all the villains want to use their quirks freely, but all the heroes put rules on it. But that's because back in the day when quirks became a thing, all people did was kill each other with them. It's the gun debate in anime, basically. So it's
Really,
like
honestly.
let's dial this back, and you can become a good guy with your quirks. And the line between hero and villain is a gray one, and it's gonna be a big My Hero video. Like Stain is the gray area because there are some heroes who are fantastic people who are inherently virtuous. But there are also heroes that are just like, hey, look, I'm trying to get this bread, player. Like, I'm just here for my
And I don't
paycheck.
care who I destroy, break, hurt, whatever, to get to the top.
Yeah. Like fucking Momo and Kendo, when they have their hero internship, they're off doing hair care product commercials when they should be learning how to save people. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there are villains that are inherently evil, and there's no changing them. They're just going to hurt, destroy, and kill people. But then there are also villains who are like victims of society.
That just get
Like Toga could have been redeemed at one point, but like her quirk doesn't really work in society. Like you have to eat people's blood. Not really sure how that's gonna work.
yeah, there's a lot of people that have, like, a lot of the villains have quirks that aren't easily malleable to be used in the Hero Society.
Yeah.
So they're labeled as non-good quirks, and so they're villain evil quirks, and so they're pretty much shunned out.
Yes. That the point of My Hero is so many people are just like, oh, the victims are just misunderstood. No, Dabi's a dick.
No, Dabi.
Shigaraki could have been saved at one point. Dabi cannot. There's good and bad heroes. There's good and bad villains. So at what point do you draw the line between hero and villain? And that's the whole point of the show. So when somebody's like, All Might was wrong, I'm like, I'll report you. This is hate speech.
I gotta find, like, this is going off in the podcast that you and I just recorded, but there is a fan fiction written where if Shigaraki was found by different people after the whole thing that happened with his backstory, if he was found by somebody else, how his life would have been. And it's Eraserhead. They somehow found it.
Y'all love Aizawa, man. I swear to
Literally, him and Present Mike are my jam. I love them both so much.
God. After this pod, I'm gonna put a soft ban on My Hero because like every episode I brought it up. Even the one with Cooking, I just did video games.
Continue
Anyway,
the streak.
Cook, you look, you've had a point for like a minute, and I keep cutting you off.
I just wanted to clarify. Dobby is the guy with like the half purple face, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got the burn scars.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names for some reason with My Hero.
It's okay.
So
I'm horrible with names in general.
Yeah.
She just knows somebody
The
that
man
cosplay.
whose fire is so
Exactly.
hot it burned his body, and he's like, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Well, every time you say Dobby, I think of
straight fire.
the elf, and then I have to remind myself it's anime. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh wait,
Ah,
purple
the other
guy.
one.
Dobby, Master has given Dobby a sock.
We had the conversation if
is
Emily's
free.
we had the conversation if Emily's dog hadn't been named Luna, we would have named it Dobby.
Yes. If her
Yes.
ears had stayed the way.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
because she loves
Moving on.
the socks.
So, we're gonna wrap this up.
Me, my
We're gonna wrap this up. There's